look who's back. Live from New York, it's going to be Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live, November 7th. Mark it down. I have a feeling NBC is. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto. Donald Trump with us right now, revisiting the show whose ratings he did boost about 11 years ago. I suspect a little bit more this go-round. Why are you doing it, Donald? And welcome.
Well, hi, Neil. You know, Lorne Michaels is a friend of mine. He's been a great guy for many years. He does it so well, and he asked me if I'd do it, and I said yes, I would. And we're going to be having a little fun on November 7th or whatever that date is. I think it'll be something that'll be special. We'll try and do a really good job for you.
Now, have you buried the hatchet then with NBC? I mean, after the dust-up with The Apprentice, and then they sold off the Miss Universe pageant, there was a lot of agita back and forth and lawsuits. Where are things now?
Well, it really, I think, very good. As you know, I couldn't do The Apprentice. They wanted me to very much. Steve Burke and everybody came up to see me and asked me to do it, but I said I'm going to run for president, so they weren't able to do that with me. I have a big stake in the show, and we've chosen Arnold Schwarzenegger, and hopefully he'll do a great job. As far as the Miss Universe, well, we did have a dust-up with that. As you know, I purchased their half, and I sold it to IMG, and I'm very happy about it. It worked out well for everybody. So I think NBC's happy, and I'm certainly happy. And we're doing Saturday Night Live, and that'll be exciting.
All right. Now, how do you think that's going to go for you? For Hillary Clinton, it was fairly harmless. It was a quick skit, one and done and out. For Sarah Palin, when she did it, not so easy. What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to go fine. I'm hosting, actually, and I think it's going to go fine. I've done it before. It's always a great honor. I did 60 Minutes 2 weeks ago with Putin. Putin was my stablemate, and it was very interesting, and they were very happy. They got their best ratings of the year. So I think it's going to go very well. I think it's going to be good for them. It's going to be fine for me, and, you know, it's really very much of an honor. When you can do a 60 Minutes or a Saturday Night Live, I think in your own little shelf, that's very much of an honor.
Yeah, it is. You know, Barack Obama also was on that show. You probably heard him on the same 60 Minutes this past weekend, dismissing your chances of becoming president. What did you think of that?
Well, I think that's the only thing he can say. I mean, they asked him a question, what do you think of Trump? Will he be president? Now, what's he going to say? Yes, he's going to be president. He's going to beat all the Democrats. He can't say that. So he certainly, I thought he treated me with respect, but certainly he can't say that I'm going to win. I may be leading in every single poll there is, which is true, as you probably know, because you have him in front of you. But the fact is, I don't think he can say that. So I thought he was fine.
You know, when you do look at these polls,
I thought he had a rough night otherwise.
Yeah, it was a tough night. But you look at all these polls, you're leading in all of them. In fact, in these latest beta Fox polls, for example, you beat Hillary Clinton. What do you think is going on there? Because there seem to be a lot of people who've been waiting for you to fizzle out. You haven't fizzled out.
We've actually reached our all-time high as of today because Connecticut just came out, and that I think I'm up by 20 points over everybody else, and the Quinnipiac poll that just came out this morning. And look, I really think that they're looking for competence now. They're tired of all of the things that have been happening with our country, the Iran deal, which is such a disaster, Obamacare, which is going to put the country out of business when it kicks in 16, because that's really when it kicks in, Neil, if you know. You look at what's happening in Syria with ISIS and everything else. There's no good news for our country, and I think people are tired of it. They're sick of it. And I think that's why I'm doing so well, because I do a good job, and they know that I will bring our jobs back from China and lots of other places, and we're going to put people back to work again. You know, our real unemployment rate is like through the roof. It's not 5.3 or 5.4. It's probably 24 or 25%. So we will do a good job, and I think that's what people want. They want some strength, and they want competence more than anything else.
Now, you promised to your fans, your 4.5 million Twitter followers, that you're going to be tweeting during the Democratic debate tonight. Why?
Well, a lot of people have asked me to. I have 4.5, and I have 4.5 or 5 million on Facebook, and they sort of merged. So I have over 10 million people, and it's been an amazing thing. It's like owning a newspaper without the losses. It's sort of great. And it's just
Do you ever
been
sleep,
amazing
though? Do you ever sleep? I mean, you seem to be
not too
tweeting
much.
A lot.
I mean, not too much. I don't need a lot of sleep. I mean, I enjoy my life. If you enjoy your life, you don't have to sleep so much. But what happens is a lot of the people have been tweeting, would you please tweet? And I said, well, it's going to be a pretty boring debate, I think. I mean, we'll see. But I think it's going to be pretty boring. But so I've agreed that from 8 o'clock on, we're going to live tweet tonight, at Real Donald Trump. So for those people that want to listen, at Real Donald Trump. And we're going to have a lot of fun.
All right. Now, today in other political news, there are hints that Sheldon Adelson, the casino billionaire, is very, very close to putting his money, his chips on one Marco Rubio. It's not official yet. It's just been widely rumored to be the case. What do you think of that?
Well, then I think it's fine. I like Sheldon a lot. He's been a person that I've known over the years. We have a very good relationship. And, you know, I'm self-funding. I don't want anybody's money. But if Sheldon gives to him, he'll have total control over Rubio. And that's the problem with the way the system works. Whoever gives. You look at Jeb, he's got $125 million in the bank. Rubio has money in the bank, not nearly as much. But anybody that is given a lot of money by these people, they're totally controlled by the people. So I think that in one way is good for Rubio. If he gets it, maybe he's not going there. Maybe he's going to go someplace else. But Sheldon or whoever, I mean, you could say Koch, you could say, I could name them all. They're all friends of mine, every one of them. I know all of them. And they have pretty much total control over the candidate. And I think that's another reason why I'm leading by so much, is because nobody controls me but the American public. I'm going to do the right thing for the country, not the right thing for a company that I represent as a lobbyist or whatever it may be.
All right. Now, you are a billionaire. You have a lot of money. You could self-fund, as you say. I'm curious on whether you could tell us how much you've spent on this campaign since the beginning. Since the beginning.
Honestly, very little. It's like a couple of $1 million or something, because I haven't, you know, I had earmarked till this point in a budget about $20 million. I've spent zero on advertising because you and Fox and all of the others, I won't mention names, but every other network, I mean, they cover me a lot, to put it mildly. And in covering me, it's almost like if I put ads in on top of the program, it would be too much. It would be too much Trump. So we expected to be at about $20 million at this point, and I've spent so far nothing. And, you know, which I think is a great tribute. It's your show, and it's a business show predominantly, although you've become more and more political, I noticed over the years, in all fairness, Neil. But, you know, it's sort of a great tribute to business, because I've spent the least money and I have the best poll numbers. And that's pretty good. I mean, I'm proud of that. You spent the least and you have the best.
I'm sorry, you say a couple of million. If you become the nominee of the Republican Party, the argument is that you'd have to spend a lot more, and that could get very, very pricey. Are you prepared for that? That you would shell out all that money?
Well, no, I don't mind spending. Once we go through that, then the party kicks in and, you know, billions of dollars comes in. Everybody wants to support. I think we'll have great spirit. That's a different thing. But going all the way through the nomination, I'm not going to accept any.
All right, I'm sorry. What's a different thing? In other words, if you get the nomination, other money comes in to help pay for this, or it's still your money paying for the campaign?
Oh, yeah. After that, the party comes in and they raise, you know, a lot of money. But it's not money that I'm raising. The party by that time will raise the money. And the party's been very fair to me. You know, I signed the pledge, and the pledge is that we honor a lot of different things.
But what if it's a Sheldon Adelson, right? What if it's a Sheldon Adelson raising money on behalf of the party? Aren't you beholden to him?
Well, I think that what's going to happen is people are going to put money in, maybe for the party if they believe in what the whole party stands for. But I haven't gotten that far. I mean, what my pledge is, and what I've said very strongly, I'm going through the entire process through the nominating process. And at that point, I guess at the very end, the party kicks in, and that's fine with me. But I'm not going to be dealing with people. I don't care. I just don't care. We're funding. I'm self-funding. I'm financing my own campaign. And I think a lot of people, I'm not sure I get enough credit for it, but I think a lot of people really respect that, and they like it, because I'm not controlled by lobbyists. I'm not controlled by special interests or donors.
Are you surprised, I mean, when you first announced almost 4 months ago that you're still on top in all of these polls?
Well, it's been a long time. I mean, from the time I came out, I mean, it's been, because they didn't really poll me before because nobody thought I was running. And then they said, oh, he'll never file Form A. And I filed Form A, which is basically, that's where you're signing your life away. And then they said, well, maybe he's not as rich as we thought, so he won't file his financials. Then I filed the largest financials in the history, you know, 98 pages. And it turned out I was much richer than anybody thought. It has a tremendous net worth. I built a great company, which is important because that's what we're going to do. We're going to use that mindset to renegotiate trade deals and to create jobs in our country and do so many different things, Neil. And we're going to make America great again, which is my theme, make America great again. And it really has resonated. Now, if you would have told me that from virtually day one I was going to be #1 in the polls, and today the highest I've been so far. I mean, we've really gone up a lot. Now, maybe it was 60 minutes, maybe, I don't know, but I took a big jump. But we're substantially ahead of everybody. If you would have said that, I probably would not have thought that was the way it was going to go. I thought it would have been more of a gradual process.
But does it bother you then when you see a piece like a Jeff Greenfield in Politico, how to tell the difference between a front runner and a fake one, or Vanity Fair, the serious problem with taking Donald Trump seriously, the pollster, John Zogby telling various wire service he's going to fizzle out shortly, that no matter how long you're in this, no matter how long you're on top, they still say you're a phenom, and that's it.
Well, my life has not been one of fizzling out. I've been a winner. I've won a lot of things, a lot of different things, too, not just in real estate or whatever I do.
So does that
I've had a lot of victories in my life.
I've covered you 30-plus years. I mean, so when you hear and see this, it's got to rattle you, right?
Well, a Vanity Fair, it's a failing magazine. You look at their newsstand sales, they're way down. They're down in the tubes. And, I didn't read Greenfield. I haven't read him in a long time. I don't read a lot of the people that you're talking about. But, look, these are all people that said I was never going to run. And that if I did run, maybe I wouldn't do well. And a lot of them know differently, and they understand differently, but that's what they want people to believe. And I have found the media to be unbelievably dishonest. A lot of it, 50%, 60%. Unbelievable, and you're not in that category, by the way. About 50, 60%.
Who is? Who do you really hate? Who do you really hate?
Well, I could tell you, but there are some groups that are just really despicably dishonest. And I'll tell you what, the public knows it. I'll tell you what I have found. The public is really smart, because they'll see things that are done. Like, for instance, on NBC, I did the Today Show. They just came out with a new poll, which was phenomenal, an NBC poll. They didn't use that poll. They used another poll where I was leading and doing well, but it wasn't as good as the NBC poll. They said, wait a minute, I'm on NBC. Why aren't you using the NBC poll? It's the craziest thing. So I've just found such total dishonesty in terms of the media, but the public gets it, and that's why I'm doing well.
You do come under a lot of heat. I mean, this is no labels event in Manchester, New Hampshire yesterday. There was talk that one young woman who asked you questions might have been a Bush plant. I mean, I think your campaign had said that.
She was a Bush plant.
Well,
no, she was a Bush plant.
Their campaign came back and said, no, she was not.
No, they're not denying it. No. They actually acknowledged that it was. And I'll tell you something.
No, they
if
didn't.
Bush can't plant somebody in a room.
She did volunteer their campaign, but they said that she was not a plant. Okay. They didn't set her up. You say they're lying.
All right, I will. First of all, Bush is so low in the polls, I don't think it matters. But it was a Bush plant. And what happened is, if he can't put a plant in a room with thousands of people and not get caught, how is he going to deal with Russia, China, and Iran? I don't think it's going to work so well for us.
All right, Rand Paul, another man for whom you had some derisive comments. He's live streaming his entire day today in Iowa. What do you think of that?
Well, I don't think it's going to be very exciting, to be honest with you. Watching Rand Paul for an entire day, I would say that will be one of the low-rated shows in history. I don't think it's going to do very well, but he really ought to get back to the people of Kentucky, because I think he's mistreating the people of Kentucky. Either you run for the Senate in Kentucky or you run for president. I don't think it's fair to the people of Kentucky to think of them as an afterthought. So I would think he should get back to trying to run for Senate, because he's not going to be able to make it in what he's doing right now, that I can tell you.
Ted Cruz got some headlines last week when he talked about you and said that you won't be the nominee. He said, I think that's right. I think that in time, I don't believe Donald is going to be the nominee, and I think in time, the lion's share of his supporters end up with us. What do you make of that?
Well, what he really said, in all fairness to him, they said, do you think you're going to win? He said, yes. Now, what's he going to say? No, I think Trump is going to win? So that's a little bit like the Obama thing. Do you think Trump is going to, well, what's he going to do? Say that Hillary's not going to win, or whoever it may be? But Ted Cruz really said, no, he thinks he's going to win. So I think he has to say that. He's treated me very nicely, with great respect. And
he's about the only one, but he's about the only one you've not dissed, at least publicly. And he has not dissed you. He has not dissed you.
That's right. And Ben Carson's been very nice also, and others. Chris Christie's treated me very nicely. No, I would say quite a few of them. I have great relationships with many of them. I know them, and I've had great relationships with them. A few have really gone out. I mean, if you look at Perry from Texas, he really went after me, and nobody knew what happened. All of a sudden, he had to get out of the campaign. So far, everybody that's hit me has gone down. And in a certain way, I guess that's the way we like it, Neil.
You mentioned Chris Christie, but he had said a couple of weeks ago to our Greta Van Susteren that your experience doesn't prepare you for what you've got to face if you became president. That you just can't fire someone. You can't fire, at the time, John Boehner, Speaker, even though he's leaving now. There's a different mindset for which you are ill-prepared. That you're very good in business. You have the qualifications there. You wouldn't be a good president. I think that's what he's saying.
Well, I've employed tens of thousands of people. I'm an international businessman. I'm all over the world, which a lot of people don't know, but I'm all over the world, practically no matter where you look. I have deals that are phenomenal deals, and they're literally, many of them, ready to be signed. And I'm not even focused on it very much right now because I'm doing these things and this thing, which is making America great again, which to me is the ultimate and the most important thing I can do. And I know we'll be successful at it. But I've been all over the world, tens of thousands of people I've employed. That takes care of health care, that takes care of their education, so many different things. I've dealt politically all over the world and in this country, and very successfully. I think I'm probably better prepared than anybody running, actually.
Lindsey Graham, you've had some choice words in the past. He said of you, I think his attitude toward his critics is below the office of the President of the United States. Some of his solutions are, quite frankly, gibberish. What did you make of that?
Well, Lindsey Graham's another one. He came up, he asked me for campaign contributions a few years ago, and he was fine. I didn't care about him. All of a sudden, he started attacking me to try and get some publicity because he's got a 0 in the polls, 0. And in South Carolina, he's at 3 and I'm at 32. And he's the senator from South Carolina. So, look, they're going to have some people that hit you. And I never hit first. I always counterpunch. But you have some that hit you. And Lindsey Graham was one. And he was quite vicious about it. And, in the meantime, I guess he's got to get out very soon because he's got no rating whatsoever. He's got no poll numbers. At some point, when you get 0 for a number of months in a row, you got to sort of get the picture. But he hit me and I hit him back. It's pretty simple.
But do you ever think that
I can't imagine he's going to say great things.
I hear you. But do you ever think that you hit back a lot harder, that they come at you with a pea shooter and you come back at them with a bazooka?
Well, they're not really pea shooters. They're very vicious. I mean, Perry went to Washington and made a whole half-hour speech about me, about me. And Lindsey Graham hit me very hard. And they all, the ones that go after me, they hit me pretty hard.
What did you think of what Hillary Clinton did?
I can't tell
Hillary
you.
Clinton was outside one of your casinos yesterday ripping you and in sympathy with striking workers.
Well, actually, that was good because she gave the casino, she gave the hotel. It's a beautiful hotel, tallest building in Las Vegas. She gave it great publicity. So I think in a certain way it was good. No, we have great relationships with my workers, with workers generally, and there's a case where actually for many years we've had a very successful development right in Las Vegas.
They want to unionize at this casino,
Yeah, they want
right?
to try and unionize. By the way, they've tried for the last 4 or 5 years. They've been trying for 4 or 5 years unsuccessfully. We'll see what happens. At some point, maybe it'll happen. But the workers are very happy there, and they've been very happy for a long time. It's been a very successful project.
All right, so when they were protesting and Hillary Clinton was saying that you don't hear the cries of the common man, you say what?
Well, it's not really them. It's people that they have from the union from outside. They come in and they protest. So it's not really them. The people in the building have been very happy. Don't forget, the union's been trying this for about 2 or 3 years, and they've been failing every time.
Your tax plan, when it came out, got a lot of attention. But a lot of your critics quickly seized on it, Donald, as you know, by exempting an additional 75 million households from paying any income taxes. Bobby Jindal, among others, saying that everyone should have skin in the game and that many not having skin in the game doesn't help anyone. What do you say?
Well, I fully understand it. The problem is from a bureaucratic standpoint. You're talking about millions of people that aren't paying anything anyway. And I love the idea that everybody has to pay at least $1 and all of that. But you're talking about tremendous bureaucratic work. You're talking about tremendous millions and millions of returns that you don't have to go through that process now. And ultimately, I'm giving a big tax reduction, which is going to have people working again. And ultimately, these people are going to make more money than they've ever made before because the economy is going to really expand. It's a very dynamic plan. And when it expands, these people that aren't paying are going to be over the threshold number, which is about $25,000, depending on marriage, et cetera, anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000. And they're going to start paying tax again. But I just don't see it. Number one, they're not paying anyway, most of them. And number two, what we need in this country is jobs. We have to take jobs back from China, from Japan, from Mexico, from all of these countries, and people will start paying tax. And that's what I want to see. I want them to start paying tax. I also understand what they're saying. Well, it would be nice to, even if you paid $1, but that's a tremendous cost, and it's very bureaucratic.
All right. Barry Diller, a billionaire in his own right, was saying of you that if Donald Trump doesn't fall, I'll either move out of the country or join the resistance. I just think it's a phenomenon of reality television as politics, and I think that is how it started. What do you make of what he said?
Well, I never liked him. I don't respect him at all. I know him a little bit. I don't respect him. I don't too much about him. He's failed so many different times. He's failed with the Daily Beast. He's failed with Newsweek magazine, lost a fortune. He uses the Daily Beast to try and attack me all the time. So every once in a while I'll hit him, and he can't take it. So, but I understand Barry Diller, and I know him well enough, and he's somebody I've just never liked or respected.
All right, I'm going to put you down as a maybe then on Barry Diller. Donald Trump, I look forward to your tweets tonight. Very good having you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Donald Trump, the leading presidential candidate. All polls, not too shabby. The reaction to all of this and what happens if he doesn't fade, as some of his sharpest critics have been hoping and waiting and waiting and waiting. You are watching Your World.